One of the things I noticed even before I came out of Christianity, mainly Southern Baptist, was that religion in many ways always wanted control. I remember being in Sunday school and you're seeing these teachers and these pastors always trying to push, their shit. And even then I thought I was like, hey, this is kind of fucked up. Now that I'm out of it and been out of it for a while, I see that it's actually a little bit more severe than what I once thought. Fundamentalists just don't want control. They want total dominance, especially here in the United States. Today, what I'm going to do for you is go over some of the examples of how they want full and total control. They need full and total control. First, I'm going to start off with the myth of, well, this is a Christian nation. I'm sure many of you have heard this many times already. I'm sure many of you have rolled your eyes to the point where if it was possible, you could probably see your brain. Most of you know what I'm about to get into, but there's some that are watching the conference that are looking at us for the first time, so hopefully I can reach them. First off, the Christians like to use that the United States is majority Christian, so therefore we must be a Christian nation, which is flat out false. First off, that's the biggest bandwagon fallacy you'd ever seen. You can't just say that something is something because of, the trends or the numbers or anything like that. You can't go off of that. Then they try to come at you with, in the Declaration of Independence, it says endowed by our Creator, as if the Creator means only the Bible God. Going back to that bandwagon fallacy again, since majority of the nation is Christian, it's got to be the Bible God. Got to be. There's no other way around it. And that's not the case, because if it was a Christian nation, don't you think we are endowed by God, by the God of the Bible? But it doesn't say that. It just says our Creator, which that could mean anything. That tells you right there that the founders were already moving towards a secular constitution to be written right after, to say, hey, we all have some sort of creator. Because at the time, they didn't know, anything about the Big Bang. They didn't know anything about what Darwin was later going to find. And speaking of the founders, when they wrote the Declaration, the majority of the founders were deists at best. Not all of them, adhered to a Christian God or the biblical God. So they knew right at the time that, okay, we just saw what the Puritans were fucking doing. We just escaped from England, who had a Protestant and Catholic blood feud going on. So, like I said, you could tell right at the beginning that they were trying to work towards more of a secular nation. So when it came to writing the Constitution, they made damn sure that God, Jesus, Bible, Mary, Joseph, whoever the fuck, was not to be mentioned in the Constitution at all. You look down the Constitution, there's no mention of any of that shit. There's not even an acknowledgement of Christianity alone. And starting out in the First Amendment, you have the Establishment Clause saying that Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion. That right there tells you that religion is not going to be in government whatsoever. But you can look at the fundamentalist Christians now and see that they just completely ignore that shit, or just forgot, or just don't give a fuck. There's also no religious test to hold any type of office. So a lot of you motherfuckers out there that think, President Obama should be holding office because you got this weird notion in your mind that he might be a Muslim, it doesn't make a fuck at all. Once again, working back to a secular nation. Now, stop me, any of y'all, if y'all see anywhere in this that says Christian nation. So far, nothing. And also in the First Amendment with the Establishment Clause, you have the no prohibiting for the free exercise thereof, which means freedom of religion. Granted, that is true. We have freedom of religion no matter what. Not freedom of fucking Christianity like they want you to think. But at the same time, with that freedom of religion, you have to have freedom from religion. So right there within the First Amendment, you're already working towards a secular constitution, which happens to be the only secular constitution in the world. And one of my personal favorites is you have Christians always want to tell you that if this country was based off the Ten Commandments, like we think it does, this country would be a lot better. No. Right off the bat, you can look at the First Amendment again and see that the First Amendment allows me to actually squat over and shit on the first 5 of the 10 Commandments. And then outside of the Constitution, you can go to Article 11 of the Treaty of Tripoli. John Adams himself wrote that America is in no sense a Christian nation. Also, You can go to Thomas Jefferson's letter to Danbury, Connecticut, saying that this is in no way a Christian nation, that we have the wall of separation. But just like the Bible, they'll cherry pick the Constitution to fit whatever their narrative is. And you notice that it's always those same people that want to say that this is a Christian nation. None of them are really Christ-like. None of them want to help the poor. None of them want to help for welfare. They always say, oh, fuck that commie shit, when their own Christ that they serve was a socialist in his own right. And then, of course, my all-time personal favorites, because this shows you right there that they don't know a fucking thing about history, is, well, what about the pledge that says under God? Or what about the fucking dollar bills having in God we trust on them, and our coins having in God we trust on them? Right there, that tells you they don't know shit about history at all. And that happened in the 50s during the beginning of the Red Scare. And the same thing with under God and the Pledge of Allegiance. During a time of crisis or whatever, they always want to push their shit, so they put in God we trust. And when you really think about that, in God we trust, that's more of kind of like a divisive thing, because they know good well that not every one of us believed in God. So it was basically saying, oh, we're going to represent the ones that believe in God and say that, you know, we're trusting in God here, but fuck everybody else. But what are they really saying when they say this is a Christian nation? Well, what I get out of it is saying, if you don't believe in God, if you don't conform to our bullshit, fuck your rights, fuck your freedom. We're going to do things our own way. You need to follow along with us. Where the fuck is freedom in that? And where the fuck is the freedom of religion if I don't have the freedom to practice any other religion that I want? It has to be Christianity. They bitch about a fucking Sharia law all the time, but yet it seems like ever since the beginning, they've wanted to implement their own Christian version of Sharia law. And the two main factors that Christianity loves to build their case off of is, number one, is the vicarious redemption of Jesus Christ. That's basically a way to say, okay, well, because of that, we don't have to hold our responsibility anymore. Fucking Jesus took that away already. Doesn't that go against everything that America stands for anyway? Taking this responsibility for yourself, standing for yourself, and doing your own thing, working hard to get your way. Well, I don't have to now. Jesus handled that. If this is a Christian nation, I ain't got to worry about any responsibility. And then the concept of hell. Right there, hell, what does that represent? Eternal hellfire, eternal torture, you know, just mass anguish at the highest level. But yet, if you look at our 8th Amendment, it goes against cruel and unusual punishment. So once again, I ask, stop me if you see anywhere that this is a Christian nation. But the fundies don't stop there. With the fundies wanting total control and knowing that they're losing this battle, they're trying to implement pseudoscience, intelligent design, creationism, whatever the fuck you want to call that bullshit. They want to try to put it in public schools. They're finding their way to push their fucking shit into the public square, push it into law, push it into politics. Now you can't even be a Republican without actually saying to everyone, hey, I am a Christian. And you look at Donald Trump now, I think he's bullshitting when he says it, but they're all over his nuts because of it. Because instead of policy and actually running this fucking nation, they only give a shit if you believe or not. You can go back when Rick Perry was governor of Texas. He couldn't handle his fucking shit at all. So he said, fuck it. I'll just put it into God's hands and we'll have a national day of prayer. We'll all get together at Reliance Stadium in Houston and we'll all just pray because I don't know how to fucking do my job. And the same thing goes with Rick Perry and the death penalty. He had no problems fucking axing motherfuckers. But yet, doesn't that go against one of the 10 Commandments? What your personal belief is should not matter when it comes to holding presidential office or even, you know, Senate, what have you, governor. But like I said, to these fundies, that's what matters the most. And at the same time, they found a way to work their politics into churches now. You can't go to a Sunday service and hear stuff from the Bible. You'll have pastors telling you that Obama's the Antichrist. Liberals are the fucking new Nazis. They're actually preaching politics in church. Once again, they're breaching that fucking wall on either side. So bottom line, they don't want freedom of religion. They want a full-on theocracy. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to have my kids learning fucking bullshit in school. Especially stuff that has no fucking evidence backing it whatsoever. Oh, I've got this book. That book don't mean a fucking thing. We got mountains of evidence to prove otherwise. But as I said before, what that really tells me is that they're losing a battle and they're trying to fight and claw any way to gain some type of ground. For us, pushing secularism is a strong move and we're winning. But we're not done yet. We got to keep this thing going. We can't allow fucking religion to find its way into law, find its way into politics, and just completely shit on the Constitution altogether. And if we all hold together, we all hold strong, we keep fighting this shit, we keep speaking out, we're going to have a better life for our kids, our grandkids, you know, for the future. All right, guys. That's it for me for now. I do have a channel on YouTube. I'm called Pulse of Defiance. I've got a few videos that are more ranting, just like this one is. I don't have any like sharp editing skills or anything like that. But if you guys want to check that out, it's there. I do want to thank Adam Collins for bringing me along. I've looked forward to this thing. This has been a long time coming for a lot of us. I will be available for the Q&A section afterwards. If not, you have many more speakers, many great speakers after me. I know a few of these guys on Facebook. Some of them are fucking hilarious. Some of them are really sharp with their work. So yeah, I hope I wasn't too disappointing. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time. Later.